Welcome to another episode of Rap in Order. I am First Class Reg.
I'm Torian B.
And today, before we get into this episode, of course, we like to just touch base on what we're going to be focusing on. We're doing something a little different today. So there's not a lot of artists that you can put them against their own bodies of work and have a concise and detailed argument. But Usher is one of them. So today, Usher, we're going to get into 8701, which is his album that came out in 2001. It's kind of, a lot of people see it as the precursor to the other one that we're getting into, which is Confessions. Confessions, obviously, we know was huge, over 1 million copies in a week. It survived off of, no, I won't say survived, that's not a good word. It thrived off of this alleged affair that Usher had, and that Usher had while he was seeing Chili, but it wasn't until years later that we learned that it was actually Jermaine Dupri's story that he poured into Usher's soulful voice. This album had countless hit singles. There's not enough to say about Confessions and the success of it. The success of it is so big that it overshadows how big 8701 was. 8701 was big in its own right. Like you had You Don't Have to Call, which still plays to this day. Like it's still a hit. You Remind Me is still a hit. I Don't Know with Diddy is still a hit, but it doesn't get played that much, but when it gets played, it's appreciated. But yeah, we decided to switch it up because these albums can go neck and neck when you don't look at the numbers game. When you look at the quality of what's on here, you got something different. And what do you have to say about these two going against each other?
Well, Usher has always been known as the heir apparent to Michael Jackson, right? With that being said, these albums are very reminiscent of Off the Wall and Thriller. Like it's kind of scary actually. Like how they used it is kind of like identical, right? And typically when I talk to people, a lot of people prefer Off the Wall to Thriller. Like they say like the theatrics and everything around it, yeah, but like Off the Wall was more of their favorite album. And I feel like with Confessions and 8701, we've had like enough time that passed. I'm not even gonna say with more time, like, but I just think that a lot of people are blinded by all of the hoopla that came with it, but they don't understand that a lot of the lore and the attention started with 8701 because his relationship, like basically we were like watching like a reality relationship, like reality show relationship unfold. So like that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that reality TV, like we had the real world, but we didn't have stuff like celebrities. So like we literally watched she was a love interest in all his and most of his videos, 3 of the videos for the 8701 album, right? Mm-hmm. So we all are they dating? Are they not dating? Then we found out they're really dating, right? Yeah. So that kind of had us buy in. So then obviously the big thing happens where Confessions happens, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, he cheated? They're breaking up? No way. So I just think there was a lot that came with in the packaging for Confessions that led up to it, like you said, right? Mm-hmm. But with both projects, I just remember a lot of conversation was going on about it, and this was when the internet was still very young, so chat rooms and stuff like that was still brand new. But both albums were polarizing. It just so happened that Confessions it reached a head. It was just the story was too scandalous, and there was so much secrecy around it. People didn't know where art was imitating fiction or vice versa. And mm-hmm. Usher really want to talk about it to the point that Chili didn't even know. People were asking Chili yo,
yeah.
She don't even. Chili thought she was I don't know. You ask him Usher ruined his relationship with Chili to sell this album.
For this album, yeah. Because she didn't know what to think. I forgot about that.
Yeah, they said they actually there was no cheating. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that there actually nothing wrong in their relationship. Usher just ruined it because they were yo, you gotta let this rock. You can't why couldn't he go home and be babe, hey, everything's fine with us. I just
Hey,
got
it's a
something.
rollout. I could picture Jermaine Dupri like, no, roll with it. Roll with it. Let her think what she want to think.
Like Chili really thought he had a baby on the way.
Probably. That's great. That's dedication. That's dedication like a motherfucker. Damn. But as far as the singles, let's see here. You had the first single for 8701 was You Remind Me, right? You Remind Me came out, and yeah, Chili was at the end of that video, I remember. And then it led into You Got It Bad, which was just everything was so sequenced perfect. Like You Got It Bad came out, nigga was dancing in the rain, he was doing little dance that everybody was trying to do. Yo, like the rollout for these albums were impeccable. Like it was amazing. And Usher, you know, he had a debut like back in '94, I think it was.
Maybe, yeah, Call Me a Mac.
Call Me a Mac, when he was still like really a kid. And he's one of the rare artists that really kept, especially in R&B, he only got bigger up until Confessions. Like Call Me a Mac was like this. And My Way, literally like an incline. Like it just kept going until superstar status.
I just think
like I said,
for
the singles stand out like that.
The singles stand out for both projects. I have my argument as far as like the singles and everything like that. And also like the songwriters and musically for both projects, my arguments. Now some people say, I'm not sure, I forgot who, I think it was Mo Bigga. Mo Bigga, which one did Mo Bigga say was more of a pop album than an R&B album?
She said, I think she said Confessions was,
which I found really odd, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you.
I think was she talking about Future Sex?
No. Well, some people always say but Future Sex is a pop album, right?
Yeah.
But I guess for me, my thing is just that like Usher is an R&B artist, so like obviously he made like because he was the biggest artist at the time. He made pop, like he basically what he like people were mimicking him, but he was doing R&B. So to me, like what he did, like you get what I'm saying? Like I think that's like what people forget about, like in the formula and the definition of pop music. Pop music is just what other people imitate of what the biggest artist at the time is doing.
Right.
Usher can't be pop music because Usher is an R&B artist. And I just think that like that gets misconstrued. Like I get that Justin Timberlake is the biggest artist at a time, but like he's not a like he's from a boy band, and boy bands imitated R&B artists. And then so when he went solo, that also happened. He just sings really well and he's really talented, right? So I just want the listeners to know, I know I throw shade at Justin Timberlake, but I still respect it, like his talent, and I know what he can do. I'm just saying, because like, you know, like how his career started, that's why he's viewed as a pop artist and why Usher isn't. Because Usher is an R&B artist, and basically he defined what was going to be on the charts and what other artists were going to mimic. So that's why I don't ever say that he's a pop artist. Like he's popular and I get all of that, but he set the bar, he set the tone for what's going on, right? But yeah, I remember hearing Mo Bigga say that and I was confused. I was hoping she could make it tonight, but like I think that like when we were like setting everything up, I think she missed some stuff. She's out of town with her grandma right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that both of these projects were polarizing. I just think that 8701 kind of like helped guide the story because we were all invested in his relationship with Chili. But I think that musically, obviously Confessions just has so many hit songs and like it just didn't miss. And I just think that Brian Michael Cox and Jermaine Dupri and Usher were really, really in their wheelbarrow as far as like the writing and the dramatics of what they were doing, because they were like telling their own personal stories, which were really scandalous. But
exactly.
But I really feel that with 8701, the songwriting was so strong. Like he had Babyface, Terry Jam and Terry Jam and Jimmy Lewis, the Neptunes, giving him like, you know. So I just like, I really think that we look at it like 8701. Another thing that people don't know about 8701 is that 8701 was a tribute to that Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation album, and that's why he worked with Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam as well. And I think a lot of people don't really peep that. And even with the numbers, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people don't realize that, but like that was something that like he did purposely. And I just feel like the songwriting on there and the production on 8701 was strong. And I know a lot of people will say I'm bugging because I'll say that the last 3 songs on 8701 are weaker. And I feel that a lot of people feel like Confessions might only have like maybe like 1 or 2 weak songs.
Yeah.
I never ever need to hear "Yeah" again ever in my life.
Ever. I never liked "Yeah." Fun fact. When it came out, I was like, I don't like this. I didn't like the beat. I was like kind of over Little Jon's production when it came out. So I was like, yeah, no, I don't like this. It wasn't for me.
I feel like "Yeah" could have easily been replaced with "Lovers and Friends." Like we didn't have to get that.
Yeah, and then they tried to make it seem like, you know, they had all this amazing chemistry just because they had 2 songs together, but only one of them was a really big song, in my opinion, was a great song, and that was Love Friends.
But the funny thing is that "Yeah" came because like when they went to the label said like, you guys don't have a lead single. Isn't that crazy? That they took Confessions. They took Confessions and like they said like, yeah, y'all need another one. So he went and worked with Little Jon, and that's how and Little Jon gave him those 2 songs because they were like, all right, well, what's on the radio right now? Crunk music. But like that's nuts to me. That they felt that the label felt that Arista felt that way. That Arista felt like, hey, yeah, we know, you know, you have like a lot of crooning, but we need a crunk record. What?
Pretty much, because Little Jon was that nigga at the time. Like they just needed some Little Jon, you know. But you know, it brings us to a really interesting point because I really do. I can't wait to hear what LA says about both of these albums. I can't wait to hear what Danny says about both of these albums because I feel like we did get to a certain point where Confessions got so big that people started nitpicking and they started going and saying that they like 8701 better just to be different. But I feel like, you know, we have a group of people today that can really break down why they like which one and give you really solid reasons.
We'll see. I feel like LA is going to ask me in my high a couple times.
Yeah, probably.
And ladies and gentlemen, understand, I am the person who pinned that Confessions is the best R&B album of the past 15 years. It just so happens that 8701 is not in that 15-year realm because it came up prior. I just feel like Usher was on a great run, and I just like it's more sort of production for me with anything, man. I feel like the Neptunes just gave it that project that extra oomph. Having Babyface write a song on any album is just going to enhance things for me.
Yeah, I'll be sold off Babyface.
Yeah, right? Man, off Babyface, and then Robin Thicke wrote on Confessions though, which is pretty dope. That's, you know, early writer credits right there. You know, the falsetto and everything like that. That's, you know, before he got his shine. But we gonna see. We definitely gonna like see like how the guys are gonna gauge this or whatever like that. But yeah, whenever you're ready, Reg.
Yeah, man. So yes, without further ado, we're gonna get into case 142. This is Confessions versus 8701.
Writer credits right there, you know, the falsetto and everything like that. That's, you know, before he got his shine. But we gonna see. We definitely gonna like see like how the guys are gonna gauge this or whatever like that. But yeah, whenever you're ready, Reg.
Yeah, man. So yes, without further ado, we're gonna get into case 142. This is Confessions. Welcome to another episode of Rap in Order. I'm First Class Reg.
I'm Torian B.
Today joining us, we got that Aviles guy.
Yo.
we got LA of What's a Good Guy. And today we want to talk about, well, we kind of switching up the format a little bit as we've been doing the past few weeks actually. But this week we want to talk about 8701, which is Usher's third studio album. And Usher is one of the unique talents that, you know, you get to compare his body of work against another body of work of his. You don't get to do that with a lot of people. And with Usher, we're comparing 8701 to Confessions. Now it's not just a typical comparison. It's one of those things where one of them kind of gets left in the dust, although it is a really solid effort. And we're wondering why. Like Confessions obviously was huge. 10 million records, 1 million in the first week. All really, really big singles. And of course, there is the publicity that it got, the major publicity that it got because of his relationship with Chili, and then everyone thinking that he had an affair. It was just a marketing chef's kiss. Like it was just great all around in that aspect, and the music really lived up to it. And when you look back, it still holds up. But in all of that, the publicity kind of holds it up in this regard to where everyone's like, oh yeah, and 8701's good too. But it's like, no, 8701 is great because you had some credits from Babyface, you had Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis on that thing, you had some big singles in its own right. You had You Don't Have to Call, which still gets
Neptunes. Don't forget the Neptunes, please.
Yes, of course. You had the Neptunes, You Don't Have to Call, they produced that. You had You Remind Me, which was the lead single. You had You Got It Bad. So like you had really, really big moments on this album too. But we're wondering why, you know, it kind of gets left behind. So I wanted to ask, I know Torian got something to say on this, but I want to start with I'm gonna start with Danny. Danny, what do you think? What's your thoughts on these two albums?
I think it's two things. I think it gets lost because what Usher had with his first three albums, this was you said it was his third studio album, correct?
8701 is his third, yeah.
Okay. So Usher has this great thing that not too many people have where his albums get better and better in the first four albums. 8701, when it dropped, I was a freshman in high school. I loved it immediately. It was a smash hit everywhere. Usher started getting dudes to wear tighter clothes. Like a lot of people contribute that to Jay, but I feel like that was more all the I'm gonna keep it a buck. The Jamaicans in school who were listening to Usher and had a different style and then changed up the game at that point. I think as you get down to it though, 3 years later when he follows up with Confessions, I'm a senior in high school. You know, you go through your high school romance bullshit, so certain music hits a different way. And Confessions is like the most toxic fucking, I don't care, I'm toxic, give me a second chance, I miss you music you could possibly get. And I guess in your young and mature days and going through relationships and heartbreak, that shit hits differently. I just think the reason why it's overshadowed is the growth that Usher showed after. Everything you said about the controversy and publicity outside of the album outshined it. Also, we're forgetting that at this point, JD had a chip on his shoulder. JD gave that famous interview where I think it was Double XL, where he kind of comes for Timbaland and Dre, and then you know Dre, M, and Timbaland had their answer together back at him with Square Dance. So I kind of felt like JD had something to prove to people at this time, and when Confessions came out, and he really showed out and put his best foot forward in a way that we haven't seen Usher or JD since till recently, and now we see them working with all these same people again.
Yeah.
I just wanted to chime in. Don't forget Emancipation of Mimi as well.
Yeah, like JD was definitely
right.
Go ahead.
He was in a creative pocket with those two projects. So I just wanted, because you said like we haven't seen it again. I'm like, well, he did it with Emancipation.
No, I meant just between Usher and JD. Like we haven't seen them work like this together really again. That they're involving the names that they're involving on production, the fact that we know it seems like JD has a chip on his shoulder right now after the whole Diddy stuff for the verse. I think it's definitely Jermaine producing an album, and when Jermaine produces an album, you get greatness. I think 8701, he knew he had one, but they were already good either way, and Confessions was just the knockout the park that JD needed for that revamp.
I agree with that. And LA, what's your standpoint, bro?
I want to come in and just say that 8701 changed my life. I was introduced to LA once I heard that album. I was LaShawn, then I evolved into LA. I never wanted a chain to spin around my neck so fast. I danced in the rain passionately outside of my girlfriend's crib because of that album. You know what I'm saying? I was on the B46. They had the the bus stand. I did the spin move. I learned that album. How do I say? Was an episode on What's a Good Guy, and it was based off of How Do I Say. You know what I'm saying? I learned Spanish. The man taught me Espanol, right? But but I say all of that to say this. The reason why, well, there's two reasons for me that I even got 8701 autographed, right? Cool.
You got it? Yeah, where's
fine.
that?
But I will provide the facts. I definitely probably has it. But that was a birthday present too. The reason why 8701 kind of gets left in the dust for two reasons. The main reason, his follow-up performance, bro. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like you drop 55 one game, right? And then the week after you score 81. Mm-hmm. What are people going to talk about more? You know what I'm saying? We've never seen anything like this. And then you know what you do? You times it by 10. Mm-hmm. Your follow-up is Confessions. Really? You want me to talk about the shit that happened before? Nah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That adds to your resume, but I'm not going to talk about it more. You know what I mean? And then my second reason why it gets left in the dust, it doesn't age as well as Confessions. You know what I'm saying? Which one I'm going to go back first? 8701 now has more skips for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little bit older. I'm not going to put my hands up, bend my knees, bounce around in a circle and dance with me. I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Not at my age. Back then, it was cool for like the junior high school prom, right? But I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that now. You know, certain records, I'm going to skip. But it does like have some dope highlight moments. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Puff's verse, I think, is one of his best verse of all time. You know what I'm saying? When I need the dog.
Yeah. You ain't got you can talk with me.
You know what I'm saying?
That's smooth as fuck. That's
what if Puff was to ever do a versus, he gotta play that. You know, I keep a dime what I need with a 9. After the Sean shit, that was crazy.
Yeah. That was crazy with 9.
You know what I'm saying? But
I didn't like that shit, but I get it.
It doesn't age well in now. So it's like if I have to pick a one song to save in Usher's catalog, 8701 is not the album that I select. But it's my personal favorite, like we was talking about before. Personal and overall.
Yeah, there's a difference.
8701 is personal to me because of my experiences on life, and I was hitting puberty. That was the music. That was the soundtrack to my puberty stage in life. You know what I'm saying? So that resonates with me more. But overall, what I gotta pick, bro, that nigga can't. That's like somebody scoring 100 points on 23 for 23 shooting. He didn't miss. Not once.
But from your point on how we focus on his follow-up now, and we kind of leave this album on the back end because the follow-up was so strong. That's a good point, because I can see how that can happen because the follow-up was so crazy. Mm-hmm. Damn it! I wish Tori and well, he'll step back in a second. But
how do you feel? How do you feel? Let me ask you. How would you feel if it was in reverse? If Confessions
came out first,
yes, then 8701.
I don't know.
Wait, because I want to see. Because T, you there? So I wanted to throw an alley to Tori in regards to your point of what you said about Confessions being so crazy. Because Tori made a good point earlier when he brought up Thriller and Off the Wall. So with Thriller and Off the Wall, Thriller obviously was really big because it's like the same case when you look at it. Thriller was really big. Thriller sold over, I want to say shit at this point, 50 million records or some crazy shit like that. But Off the Wall is still highly regarded and still highly respected. You know what I mean? So like it hasn't lost its leverage just because Thriller was big. So it's like, why can't we do the same with 8701?
My theory is that because like, all right, it's not like how it was back in the 80s where people like really just sat with projects and sat with albums. So with 8701, I think that it was an album that they kind of like moved with a lot. Fuck, hold on.
While we wait for Tori, and I also want to say, what did 8701 compete with that year? Do y'all know? Maybe the competition was a little steeper.
Let's bring that up.
Okay,
I got it right here. Hold on.
You know, because sometimes that's the rememberable factor what an album competes against. You know.
Yeah. All right. So in 2001, you had Survivor, Destiny's Child.
See,
you had All for You from Janet. You had the Jennifer Lopez J-Lo album. You had No More Drama, Mary J. Blige.
Come on, that's tough.
Damn, songs in A minor came out that year.
Yeah, see, I think that could play a factor too.
It can,
because when we do albums of the year, whether R&B in this case, we're probably gonna look at what we remembered more.
Michael Jackson, Invincible.
You see, 8701 might not be there. But when it comes to Confessions in 04, that's in everybody's top 5. No debate.
Yeah, because in 2004, all right, so 2004, you get Ciara. Are we counting Suit from Sweatsuit as an R&B album?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You had Destiny's Child, Destiny Fulfilled. Oh, you had Jill Scott, Beautifully Human. You had Mario Wanyan's Hurt No More. You had Brandy, Aphrodisiac.
People had to go back.
Janet Jackson, Demita Joe.
Album. Usher kind of dominated, clearly.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was a close finish where 8701 is kind of fighting for somebody.
You got to look at the times of the year. 8701 was in August.
Yep.
All right, T go off.
At the top of the year.
T's back.
Confessions was at the top of the year, and it just. I remember Confessions riding all the way through the fucking year, all the way to
it was on the charts for 46 weeks or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know if the statutes of limitations is up, but I was making a killing selling them shits, bro. I knew how to burn CDs, bro, and I was selling them shits like hotcakes.
I made mad money in high school selling CDs, bro. I would buy blank CDs from CVS and just go in. T, you want to say something?
All right. So first off, I want to say in 2001 and in 2004, he dominated, like, because he was all over the radio and all over video shows and stuff like that for both projects. With Thriller, the same thing with Thriller and Confessions, right? So Thriller came out to like a slow burn, and then they put the video out, and that's what like put it over the top because it was like produced like a film, right? With Confessions, everybody thought that it was really true. Like Usher was like, damn, everybody likes me and Chili Dayton and everything like that, but we're not getting the recognition that we got. People really genuinely thought that this man, like the story that he was telling, and because it like stopped, like you got to remember, like when they play the intro for Confessions, like it just stops, and then you're just like, wait, what happens? What's going on? Everybody, and because Chili didn't know what the fuck was going on, if it was true or not, Usher was playing games with her. People really bought the album because they were trying to find out what the fuck happened. They were like, maybe there's a secret message in here. Maybe, you know how sometimes like back in the day, like albums would keep going and you could keep listening to the album and like it would play another song like after like 10 minutes. Like people thought like Usher was going to like be like, yeah, I cheated on Chili with this girl. So what I'm saying is that 8701, right? There are 3 songs on 8701 that are absolutely horrible. I will not sit here and say that 8701 has like from top to bottom. The last 3 songs, right? So Good Old Ghetto, U-Turn, and You Are the One. Like if you remove them, let me finish.
What is hard, Torian?
If you remove those from 8701, 8701 might be a perfect album, right? So, but it's not, and it's there. So I understand that. Also, remember this: Confessions also gained more life because they put out a deluxe album, and then they put out more songs than what songs did they add? They added hold on, I'm gonna tell you right now. They added Confessions Part 1 and Part 2 completed, the Confessions remixes, My Boo, Red Light, and Seduction, right? So that gave it even more life. Like, so think about this. Like, imagine if that happened with Usher, because you gotta forget, right? That Neptune CD that Usher got, the songs that he left on the cutting room floor, Ray J's Wait a Minute, Justin Timberlake's Like You Love Me, and then there's 2 more Neptunes produced songs that were hit records for other artists that Usher had first and he did not use, right? But I'm just saying, like, they just waited. Like the Neptunes, like all right, these songs are the making. Then they gave one to Justin, they gave one to Ray J. Like, you know, they just started like giving songs out and shit like that, right? And I forgot, like, I'm a Slave for You wasn't for a man, it was meant for a woman, but like before it got in Britney Spears' hands, it belonged to somebody else as well, right? I can't remember the artist. So what I'm just saying is like, obviously, like, people are always going to choose Confessions, right? But 8701 is his off the wall. The production on that album, if I can argue anything, the production on 8701 is superior to the production on Confessions, right? I also argue that the songwriting is better. I just think that Confessions invoked a lot of emotions, and they kind of like went more off of is the word satire? Because like Scandal, there you go, Scandal.
Yeah, satire.
Because pretty much like they knew everybody wanted to know, oh my God, it was literally like a soap opera, bro. Like they had us all hooked in.
It's also because they didn't know
how it was. I don't know how it was here, but like in Detroit, like when this album came out, I remember when Burn came out and everybody thought that he was talking about a girl that he cheated with burned him. Was that here too?
I was in Atlanta at that time, but
absolutely.
No, that's not what niggas doing.
Our immature asses in junior high school definitely thought Usher caught the clap and wrote a song about
it.
And now we found out it was true.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I don't know shit. I don't know shit about Usher. But wow.
Yeah, everything had a story to it. Everything, like the way the first couple of songs rolled out, it was kind of as if they played on like, yo, this nigga sacrificed his relationship for the greatest R&B album of my time. You know what I'm saying? I'm born in 91. So let's just put that into context. He sacrificed his relationship for this. And it worked.
Yes, it did.
It worked.
Yes, the fuck it did.
And at this time, I remember because my dad usually watches this shit after work. I think it was Entertainment News before TMZ was a big thing. Entertainment News was like the TMZ, whatever, right?
Entertainment Tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
That shit, Confessions was on that shit as if it was a real breaking story almost every night.
Yeah.
He literally had like news channels in a chokehold.
I remember that. Yo,
set it up even more dramatic.
Unlock the memory real quick. I'm sorry, Danny. Before I forget, he just unlocked the memory. I remember when, and this is going back to 8701 coming out, but right before it came out, you guys remember Cisco going on 106 in Park? and saying that he would shut any R&B cat down. This was before 8701 came out, and Cisco was that nigga. So right before
that was for R. Kelly.
Yeah, but Usher took offense to that too because Usher was about to come out. People only thought that it was to R. Kelly because R. Kelly's the one that actually responded. Because R. Kelly was like, "Oh, Cisco album flop," like he said some shit like that.
Yeah,
but yeah, like mad, like sassy. But Usher, the way he leveled up from that was nuts. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. But going back to what you were saying, Danny.
With 8701, it started the whole intertwining with Chili because of the video at the end of You Don't Have to Call. They switch over to the I don't know what you can do. What you can do tonight. Yeah, and he looked up. You remind me, yeah. No, it wasn't You Remind Me. It was You Remind Me?
Yeah,
You Remind Me was the first single. That's what.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Training in the trailer, and he had the fucking kufi
and
on.
She was, yeah, but she was dancing in the red light or some shit.
That shit was hard, bro.
Yeah, and then by the time that sparked the rumors to start, and then we knew they were in a full-on relationship by the time Confessions came out 3 years later and everything. So like, Usher's a sick man. If he was plotting all that shit to fuck with her from the beginning, he's a sick man.
So listen, I get bored. I watch YouTube a lot. You know, sometimes I like go on like Reddit pages. A lot of people say that after Justin put out his first project, that Usher was like pissed and felt like, all right, this dude trying to take my spot. He's really threatened. So Cry Me a River was such a
Timberlake?
Timberlake, yes. Usher was threatened by that. So when he saw like the reaction that what Justin got to Cry Me a River going through a breakup, that's when he was like, yo, I need something, but me and Chili are actually good. Like, we don't have no shit going on. And then that's how like Jermaine was like, yo, I got something. I got a story for you, nigga. Like, and that's how like, you know, the whole Confessions thing like kind of got rolling. Like, so like Brian Michael Cox, Jonta Austin, and Jermaine Dupri all like put their 3 stories together. And that's how like this project came, because like Usher saw the reaction that Justin Timberlake got to like going through a public breakup, basically.
Yeah.
I want to counter Torian's part where he said that 8701 dominated. It only peaked at number 4 on the Billboard, which goes to my point that was a tough year.
Well, no. I think what he meant with that was more so that Usher was still thriving and eating. He may not have been number 4 was still big, and especially with all that competition. And still, like, he was eating. He was everywhere. He was considered the male forefront face of R&B after that.
I think 8701 is equivalent to him making like his first All-Star appearance and having a deep playoff run, and then Confessions was his championship.
I don't agree with that. I think that My Way, that's what My Way is. But what I'll also say is this.
My Way is his Rookie of the Year.
No, it's not, because that wasn't his rookie yet. That wasn't his debut album.
Don't matter. I'm talking about where that arriving moment for him.
Nah, I get what Torian's saying. It's not the first, so it can't be considered the rookie year. It's like his all right, his rookie made no splash, but then he comes with the sophomore year, and he's like, oh, okay. You see him, he's doing it. He just didn't get the votes that year. And then 8701, he like dominated. And he at least made it to the fucking second round of the playoffs with it. But he definitely is just it was overshadowed with what dropped that year, I feel.
Mm-hmm. It was. I agree. So
what do you assist to his age? Do you think his age played a factor between like the 8701? You know, he's still youthful, you know.
Oh, for sure. I mean, again, it kind of just goes back to his relationship. Because
8701 was the where he had that performance with Michael Jackson and Chris Rock came on stage, or Chris Tucker. I get the confused. Yeah, That was 8701, right?
That was 8701 because Invincible came out that same year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was that catapulted him to me. Seeing them on stage, it was kind of like a semi. I don't know. I took it as a semi passing the torch. They're dance off. They're having fun with each other. Chris Tucker coming through. To crush the building. Shout outs to Chris Tucker and Torian. I think.
I wished him a happy birthday.
When was his birthday?
I don't know. I wished him a happy birthday though.
That should be a Pop-Tart or a Chris Tucker movie. That'd be fun.
I think I've done a Pop-Tart for a Chris Tucker movie, but I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll wish me happy birthday one day.
But that was but for me, that was a big moment seeing Michael Jackson. Because like I said, I'm a 91 baby. So, and that also may go into my next point, right? When did people really start to learn Usher? So when Off the Wall and Thriller came out, I wasn't born yet, so I needed time to actually understand music, go back to revisit it, and live.
Neither was we.
Torian, yes, you were, bro. You're like what, 42?
You look 42.
But no, what I'm trying to say is, people probably lived with Confessions more than 8701. You know what I'm saying? You heard Confessions more. You learned Confessions more. So, or even if the younger generation, if they have to go back and they're going back in reverse, they would hit Confessions first before they hit 8701. And before they hit 8701, it probably already devalued based off of the ability of 8701 not to grow.
And they don't even see the point of hitting My Way, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, exactly. Like they'll probably grab one or two songs based off of the Wikipedia his hits charts at the time, and because at that time LimeWire is prevalent. So when you start streaming or illegally downloading music, you're gonna get like the main hits. You know what I'm saying?
And just in general, when you're just getting into an artist, you probably just out of habit go to their best shit first or their most popular shit first. Yeah.
So it's kind of like if my first introduction is Confessions, and I had 8701. Some people might say that shit sucked just based off of hearing 8701. Suck is not an adjective, but at the same time, when you're comparing this to that, it's kind of like,
Yeah, which I realized I made the mistake upon when first listening to the albums for this. I listened to Confessions first and then 8701, and it was like, damn, that shit don't hit the same.
That's why I feel like
okay. So I know Torian said that there were songs that he would take off of 8701, which is like I think the last three. Are there any songs that you guys would take off Confessions?
Hell fucking no.
I don't think so.
Yeah, can fucking go.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh yeah, nah. I understand why it's there in context of the album. No. It's his single. He had to at the time, and the way they numbers worked then before.
Well, it starts the story.
No, it doesn't.
Nah, it doesn't need to be there. He's right.
What are you talking about?
How does it start?
He's right. He's right.
Because it's the party record that he meets.
You don't need he's right. Nah, does not.
I'm sorry.
When you actually go through it. It makes no sense when you go through
it. Bro, they crafted the entire album. They went to the label with the album. The label said, you need something. And then he went to Little John and made and Lovers and Friends.
And now you have a trilogy. There's a third song in there that I actually think is the best song out of the three. They have.
So you think Lovers and Friends are two of the top three songs? And Lovers and Friends is not even on this project.
No, I'm not saying. I mean, they have a trilogy. They have their 3 records that they've made.
And the only record that matters to me is Lovers and Friends.
Yeah.
But yo, to me personally, like I said, I'm from a younger generation. I'm the youngest out of the crew right now. So yeah, was that shit, bro?
No, I know it was that.
We
shit.
know.
Torian's old ass. It was because at this time, I'm sure Torian's bouncing niggas out the clubs and shit. He ain't like, yeah, whatever. That's cool. But for
I was a senior in high school, but I was going to teen clubs. You weren't even in high school yet. So where the fuck were you enjoying this song at?
Yeah.
I was in high school in 04, bro.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I was a senior in high school in 2004.
How you gonna tell me when I was in school?
I'm doing math.
What are you talking about? You were telling me when I was in school, bro. I went to Boys and Girls High School.
Okay. So you went from 04 and 05, right?
Yeah.
That was that summer. Oh, okay. Yeah. I graduated in 04. All right. So yeah, it's not the same.
Old fart. So yeah, listen. Yeah. To me, stays. That shit goes. It may be cheesy now. You know what I'm saying? Who likes the cheesy?
Always cheesy.
Nah, that shit was cheesy. It was cheesy always. That shit was cheesy.
Oh yeah, it's his thriller.
Let me tell you something.
But he had to have it on the album. I understand he had to have it on the album
right now. If Yeah would come out right now, that shit would still go crazy.
No, it would be a stinker. It would be a stinker if it came out now.
TikTok,
you hear that beat? That's one of the worst beats ever made.
Bro, TikTok would eat that shit alive. The A-Town stop, all the dances that came with it after it. You know what I'm saying? He made sure he threw in the Caribbean culture in there with the thunderclap and the signal to plane and all that bullshit. He knew what he was doing.
That was the video version of the song.
So what? But that's what saved the record.
That was the cool part.
Okay. So let me put it to you like this. I saw the video first before hearing the song, so I never heard the song and then saw the video.
I remember the song premiering on the radio. I
remember the song premiering on the video premiered on 106 in Park, and that shit was nuts to me, bro. So no. Usher needed that.
Wasn't outside.
Usher needed that.
You thought the club was really like that, didn't you?
Oh, you wasn't outside. Opportunities.
You thought the club was really like that, right? You thought everybody broke out of flash dances and did dance moves together while somebody called it out on the microphone, didn't you?
This
you thought it was really like that.
Automatically thinks it shreds off the 3 years of his life, nigga. You still 45. You know what I'm saying? Sit down.
I'm 34 years old. And I look great, man.
No, you fucking had to worry about your cholesterol because you was getting too old. Your insurance is wearing out. You might not make it.
Insurance is great.
But nah, bro. For me personally, it doesn't go, bro. You need I don't think Confession does what it does without
Okay, so what is the song that you would get rid of?
Nothing. That shit was flawless from top to bottom, bro. Okay. That shit was a clean house.
LaShawn smoked crack tonight before he came on here because he thinks that Confession would have done without That is crazy.
Had no significance to this album.
Nah, it does.
Sales. No, it did. It did. You have to understand. It did. You guys have like that's for you. I get it. For quality of album, no. Strictly for sales, yes. Like that song.
Because Lil Jon was on fire, but I'm talking about quality.
Okay, I agree. But that's just like we have to respect. Like it did what it did. That's why it's on there. But I agree, song's not good. It needs to be taken out of here. I think it would get cooked today in context of the album.
When people talk about this album, they don't even talk about
Yeah.
But that's how
and imagine just starting a song from the intro into throwback would have been fire.
Yeah.
Like that intro just flowing straight into throwback would have been amazing.
Yeah.
You know what is? It's like started from the bottom for Drake.
Except Started from the Bottom's a better song.
No, not really. I hate that record. The way y'all feel about is the problem. Started from the bottom. It wasn't needed for that album.
Into throwback would have been amazing. It really would have.
I'm telling you, it seriously was not needed for that album.
Yes, it was.
Like, it stands out like a sore thumb. Because literally, it's a time capsule song. They literally got it because of Little John.
That beat is doing? Terrible.
Come on, man. You gotta get your chain and you gotta toss it. That shit was tough, bro. That shit helped.
You don't need it. So, all right, going back to what I said, yeah, we don't need it, right?
You don't need it. Speak for yourself.
Simple things, we don't need it.
That's because, Tori, you not in love? That nigga coaching you, bro. What you talking about? You need simple things. And it fits with the album again. You know what I'm saying?
Simple Things does fit on the album, but I can do without it.
I'm not mad at Simple Things.
Tori never been in love, bro.
Do It To Me.
Are you tapped into your emotional side, bro?
That's what it's made for. Fire.
I am.
That nigga had a low-key sex playlist towards the latter stage. Like
he did. No, it is. Like as soon as right after Superstar, I'm sorry. After Bad Girl, like that's when the sex playlist starts.
Yeah, bro. That nigga just took it into Big Horny and just changed. That shit was the soundtrack of my virginity.
All right, cool. I mean, good, great. Like that's great, man. I'm just saying to you, like the songs that like I could do without, like, and Yeah is definitely at the forefront of that. I'm sorry,
but you kind of need an up-tempo R&B record.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
And even if you did, it didn't need to be that one.
All right, I can hear your point. I don't have to agree with it. I hear you. You know, this is the reason why we're debating and shit is on trial. But Yeah stays for me. Nothing leaves, bro. Nothing leaves, son.
Right. I also want to. I'm sorry. I also really wanted to like talk about this, like musically, production-wise. 8701 is a superior project. Do you understand that while he was making 8701, he was competing with Michael Jackson, who was making Invincible at this time, and they were going back and forth on production? Like, you gotta really understand, like Usher was really working with, like, I understand that the production that he had on Confessions was good, but it was not as good as the production that he has for 8701.
You're right. And that may be true, but sonically, Confessions flow better.
I agree. Like, there's something about Confessions that is
I get it. 8701, those last three songs.
If it was a beat battle, you're right, Torian. 8701 would probably wipe the floor with Confessions just off of the beat. But how it sounds together as a whole, you're right. Because there's no real standout beats for me on Confessions that's like, yo, that shit hard. But
yeah, and Confessions has the whole fact that it's like a
Throwback now right there. Throwback is amazing.
Yeah, Just Blaze. That's okay.
And that Jada verse.
What are you thinking about Jada Kiss first?
No, the beat. Ooh, that beat is hard. What's wrong with the beat?
I don't know.
No, I think that the beat for Throwback is cool. I'm just saying, like, it's not. It's like all right. It don't compete with You Don't Have to Call. It don't compete with You Remind Me. It don't compete with You Got It Bad. It don't compete with How Do I Say. Like,
it was hard, bro. That shit.
Throwback. Tell me what Throwback fucks with.
Off a beat, you know what I'm saying? How Do I Say was wicked, bro. I felt like I was in Colombia selling drugs, and I saw the Kingpin's daughter, and I fell in love, and I just didn't know how to say it, and I had to learn Spanish on the fly from somebody on the street. That shit was crazy. But it's kind of hard, bro.
Work It Out or Seduction?
Huh?
Seduction. Work It Out or Seduction?
Seduction.
What?
What song? Twerk It Out or Seduction?
Oh, not Seduction by far. I'm telling you that nigga must have felt some type of way when Trey Songz came out a couple years later. He invented. No, the fuck you didn't, bro.
You Remind Me or Burn?
After hearing that T-Pain story, I think Usher's really spicy.
You said You Remind Me or Burn?
Yeah.
I think I might do You Remind Me.
Yeah, You Remind Me. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. His highs on that record, he really hit a good vocal point.
Yeah.
Usher's best vocal performance It's the album
You
after.
don't have to call or caught up.
You don't have to call. Yeah. Even though Caught Up is hard, you don't
Caught
have
Up is hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's a hard decision for that. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
That's a good one. Because that's
my way, giving my breath. Yes. That boy was going off. In my career.
I'm just saying, like, I really feel like 8701 just don't get his due. It's crazy because I feel like, all right, like when people talk about Thriller, right, they be like, oh, Thriller was huge, Thriller was big, but you know, Off the Wall is my shit. Like Mike was really, that was when Michael was soulful, like all of that, right? But then when we talk about 8701 and Confessions, niggas dead be shitting on that shit.
Do you think people shit on 8701? Like shit?
I do. I think people shit on 87. I don't think that 8701 gets praised the way I think. Like I think it should get praised.
But see, Torian, here's the counter argument, just to play opposing view, right? You see how we could go down every record of Confessions and be like, yo, which song would you take off? And you got a strong one and a possible two, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes.
8701 niggas is nitpicking that shit, bro. They're taking out this, they're taking out that, they're taking out this, they're taking out that. You know what I'm saying? You off the rip said 3 songs without even looking at the album. Mm-hmm. If somebody sit there and like, that's probably why 8701 is not gonna get its respect, because that shit turned sour.
But it's at the very end of the album, though.
That's important, though.
That's still important.
That's important because if we go back to our older case with the Travis Scott album, that was one of our points. We couldn't get through the end because we didn't like the way it ended. So it's like if we use that same argument here to 8701, if you're taking out the last 3, you're leaving before the movie ends. Not even at the credits. You're leaving before the shit ends. You just don't like it anymore. So that's important. And like I said, I think at 8701, he was making certain attempts to go to the like I said, U-Turn was an attempt to make a dance record, like one of those viral records. You know what I'm saying? In this new generation, it failed, but he had so many high moments that nobody addresses. That that U-Turn shit was a poor man's attempt to make a dance song.
Right. Yeah.
It might have worked now with TikTok.
Oh, for sure. But this is why I always say no matter how good an artist is, there's always a moment where they're ahead of their time. Usher right now would be scary enough to say his career is so valuable that if he restarts it now, he probably do just as good as he did back then. But that goes to his catalog, because a record like U-Turn on TikTok would go dumb. They probably would have led with that just off of TikTok alone.
His catalog, him as a performer, like Usher is like, he's the last of that class that's like,
yeah, he's a generational talent.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. You said it better. You said it better than I could. His talent is insane. The amount of effort that he puts into performances, like even till this day, like I've seen Usher performances where he does like a medley of all his hits and everything. He can tap into how his vocals were at that time, and you can see how he got better over time. Like it's just.
Well, I also say this is that Usher is the last of a dying breed as far as like artists that get like media trained and are learning certain things, right? Yeah. So think about it like this: like Chris Brown, early in his career, he did get like Chris Brown was lucky because Chris Brown did get media trained, but then labels started cutting back on certain shit, and like Chris Brown just like he was able to like just freestyle and get away from shit, like. You know, like he was able to rebel and get away from a lot of things. But Usher was actually like groomed to like go to like vocal training and learn like a lot of things and like be told to like be in his hotel room with the AC at a certain level so his vocal cords don't get too warm and everything like that. But you have artists now where they're not getting trained like that. Like they're like SoundCloud artists or whatever like that. Like they're getting signed. And that's not a bad thing, but they're not getting the development that they're supposed to get. They're not being trained how to become a celebrity. They're not being trained how to talk, how to speak, how to dress, how to dance, having choreographed dancing and shit like that. And I think that's also a part of the reason why he told T-Pain that he kind of fucked up music. Was not because of just auto-tune. Let me finish. not just because of auto-tune, but because a lot of people that should be songwriters were able to become singers because they might have not had like a strong enough voice, but auto-tune could mask that. Now, LA, what's up?
I was gonna ask you, right? Do you think you need to hear Usher's side of this? Yo, you fucked up music. Like context to that.
And this is another,
if I say, thing. Yo, you fucking up the training game, and you fucking it up for niggas like me. I could be kind of singing you praise. I don't necessarily mean like you making it hard for me to eat, because I'm Usher, right? Like, how can T-Pain make it hard for me?
But I don't think he was saying it hard. I think he was just saying it. I think he was just saying, you fucking up music, nigga. You changing shit at a pace that we don't want. You changing shit in a way that we not ready for. And it's just like Torian just said, like, you opening the floodgates for all these niggas that can't really sing on a higher level like I do.
Usher signed Justin Bieber. Like, he was a part of Justin Bieber's development, right? So they put him like through artist boot camp and they did all of that shit. And then after a while, like they kind of like let him off the reins, and then that's when he started getting in trouble and shit. And now like he's going to like super churches and mega churches and shit like that. But at one point, Justin Bieber was very much well like trained and groomed and everything like that. And Usher was a huge part of that because, you know, Usher grew up in that kind of realm. Like, you know, black artists didn't really get to go to the Mickey Mouse Club to like learn how to be media trained and stuff like that. But like, you know, Usher was trained by LaFace Records, you know, like, so L.A. Reid and Babyface and everybody over there really took him under the wing and really made sure that he learned the ropes. And then they did the same with Justin Bieber when they brought him over to Island Records. So I just think that Usher was saying like, yo, like, how the fuck I'm gonna look at, you know, an artist and say, yo, you need to go to vocal training class, or you need to, you need to go and do X, Y, and Z. And they're like, why? Like, just put some auto-tune on that shit. I think that was what Usher was trying to basically say.
I think T-Pain was being dramatic as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I know he got a lot of backlash for the auto-tune and shit like that.
But I think that's how he took it, man. Like, it's all about interpretation. So, like, this is T-Pain's standpoint. So I think it is, like you said, too. I would love to hear what Usher says. But Usher is cut from that old school cloth where you're not going to hear it. Even when niggas was saying this nigga had herpes, he didn't come out.
He ain't never say anything. But anything. Whatever.
He just kept it moving. He never addresses anything like that. I feel like but he's from that cloth of entertainers that they let you just talk. You just say what the fuck you want to say.
Because he was already at that caliber. Like one of these things. Like he's reached that respect level where he is above and going at not answering. Like, you get to a certain place in your career when I feel like you've hit the I'm the hottest out for a minute, and you're able to maintain it, because he had he had like a 3, and then when did Here I Stand come after? Like maybe 2 years after that?
3 years after, yeah.
Like 3.
So he had like a 6.
That's his best vocal album.
Yeah, he had like a 3 to 6 year run, 4 to 6 year run, you know, between these albums. So like he was the one for a minute, and he reached that level where you don't have to answer this shit. Like,
I don't think I don't think Usher's ever gonna hit the notes app and put it on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think he's above that as an artist. But I mean, you know, niggas surprise you every day, so we'll see. But we ain't seen it yet. But I do want to wrap this up, and I want to wrap this up in saying or asking, who do y'all think? Who else do y'all think has a catalog that you could like this, and especially in R&B, to kind of narrow it down, that you would put their 2 albums against each other and it would be this vast and this, like, we could have a constructive conversation like this?
Okay, can I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey.
They're back-to-back albums, or we're talking about within their catalog?
Just within their catalog.
Preferably back-to-back, though.
Preferably back-to-back. I can't do that. Well, yeah, because the Emancipation of Mimi was kind of like her comeback. Yeah, and Mary J. Blige. I could do that with Mary J. Blige. Share My World and
411.
And no, it was 411.
My Life.
In My Life. So, or I mean, I would like you could shit. I could do a fucking triple, but like if I 411 and My Life, Share My World, or like it can go either way with that one because that was back to back. That was a three-peat in my opinion.
I agree.
But definitely Mary could do that.
Would y'all say Neo?
No.
No.
Because of You and In My Own Words.
Yeah.
I like Because of You a lot, and I liked In My Own Words a lot.
Now, are we talking about the same? Does it have to be the same Hall of Fame stature, or are we just talking about their two best albums back to back, where people downplay one over the other?
Yes, exactly that.
Okay, so I know we're doing R&B, but for rap, definitely Take Care versus Nothing Was the Same.
We're doing R&B, bro.
I know, but
I'm cutting this part out.
That is the same thing. The same conversation with your ass.
I agree. R&B.
I would say Neo. I would say Neo.
The two Miguel albums.
Ooh.
His first two. Kaleidoscope Dreams and why can't I think of his second album?
Kaleidoscope Dreams is his second album. The first one was what you call it? Girl Like You?
No, it's not the first one.
The first one was All I Want to Do.
Is it Wild Heart is the other good one?
Wild Heart wasn't that good. I think you're thinking about All I Want Is You and Kaleidoscope Dream.
Yeah.
Me personally,
it's All I Want Is You then, I think.
Me personally, that's a personal favorite. I would say 112's debut, 112 versus Room 112.
I think we all know Room 112 is the superior to their debut though.
Superior, okay, but like because of the hits, right? Are we talking about like full R&B? That's what I'm saying. Like, are we doing like social status, or are we talking about back?
No, I'm just talking about like better album. I think the back to back thing isn't fair. Like I get it, but it's just like a lot of artists like they always have like a down album like that. But if we talking about like
because I think their debut. Do you put Room 112 over 112?
Yeah.
See, that's why I disagree with you.
Okay.
I got it. Drew Hill versus Enter the Drew.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I would do Marvin Gaye, What's Going On is Let's Get It On.
I guess it depends on where you at with it, because one is more politically driven and one it definitely has more of the songs that are about like good loving and shit like that, which he purposely did. For me, What's Going On would be the superior project, because it was such like a polarizing like thing that he did. And it really stands the test of time. Like What's Going On, like especially like the times that we just experienced with all the shit that happened during COVID and stuff like that. Like the What's Going On album, definitely. You wanna know one of my favorite slept on Marvin Gaye projects is Trouble Man, the Trouble Man soundtrack.
Trouble Man's amazing.
Trouble Man's amazing.
Mine might be Hear My Dear.
Now, that's crazy because like you know the story behind Hear My Dear, right?
Yeah.
It literally that was his settlement to his ex-wife, Berry Gordy's sister.
And that's why he called it
12 years older, who was 12 years older than him. He just was like, yo, you can have all the rights to this album. Please just let me out of this marriage so I can go marry this 19-year-old.
Wild? That's some wild shit. It's like, yo, just take this.
Forever My Lady versus Diary of a Mad Band.
I gotta think about that.
But yeah, so we do. This was a good conversation, guys. I really enjoyed this. I think I am gonna listen to 80. I mean, I listened to it earlier this week too, but I want to listen to it with you guys' perspectives in mind. Like Torian brought up a good point with the production that went into 8701. And with Confessions just being a blockbuster that it was, we know that because of that, 8701 gets overlooked a lot, but a lot of work went into that album and it showed. So new perspectives, y'all. As always, I'm First Class Reg.
And I'm Torian B.
And we are out of here. Peace. Out of here. Peace.